I want to introduce 10 categories. Yes, after perfecting your first textbook, you will understand how many categories there are in order to acquire English. 10, alright. And by deciding your textbook on each category, you can balance out the English acquisitions. Why I want to introduce this idea is that sometimes we do the same kind of textbooks. I think that is kind of waste of time and energy. Your textbook is somehow overlapping in the same categories, right? I want to avoid this unnecessary effort, time, consumption, and maybe cost of money, right? Because I spent 15 years, over 10,000 hours dedicated to studying English. I think that was too much. I want you to have or take the shortcut to the acquisition of English. Alright, so let me introduce 10 categories. But remember, I don't deny the approach of the specialist. Some people want to do the same kind of activities again and again. For example, if you love to sing a song in English, just go for it. I want you to sing as many songs as you want, so you can be a specialist in this category, singing a song in English. Or if you have strong enthusiasm about grammar, you can try many grammatical books and you can be a master of grammar. That is fantastic. Okay, so specialist type of approach is admirable, but this time, I want to introduce the balanced type, 10 categories. And first category is pronunciation. I used this textbook, 英語耳, and concept is very simple. You can check, for example, some explanation how to make S sound, and you try S sound 100 times with words like this. See, seem, since, city, system, simply, simple. Every word 100 times. And I did it. Alright. So, in order to listen and speak, you need pronunciation. So please choose one textbook or one video on YouTube. Now you can see the demonstration in the video, so you have more visual aids. So I wrote one textbook, but of course, videos are okay. And then next, vocabulary. In my case, I used these Peanuts series. As the name shows, you can master vocabulary as a sets, like peanuts. For example, you can see the phrase, not the words, phrase. And I read many phrases aloud, like this. Massive trade deficit, economic friction, economic sanction, stabilized revenues, an affluent society, economic sociology, like this, phrases, alright. So, any vocabulary books are okay, but vocabulary is the foundation of any English categories. So please complete your vocabulary with a textbook. Okay. And third, in order to make a sentence, you need grammatical rules. So in my case, I tried this one. Very thin grammatical book by Oiwa Sensei. Not thick, it's really thin. So it's easy to read, and also his explanation is quite narrative. 語りかけ口調. So it's easy to read and it's really colorful, so it's easy to understand. So you can grasp basic grammatical rules. Then these three foundations will be completed. Pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar so that you can move forward, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So, number 4, sentences. So, in order to understand English, you should get accustomed to English sentence orders, subject, verb, object, and etc. 誰がどうした何を Okay. And what I did was this one. Maybe you've heard of the name Duo 3.0, 560 sentences. It's a little bit difficult and a little bit tough and thick, but idea is great. You can learn lots of phrases and vocabulary and in the simple one sentence. So it's a kind of efficient way to learn vocabulary, sentence structure, and the sentences itself. Alright. And after the sentence, you can move forward to articles or stories. So, number 5, reading. In my case, 文単 2級 level. And I think it's not too difficult, not too easy, so it's just a good level for everyone. Alright. So after this, you can read some of the basic and intermediate articles by yourself. 70 stories. So let's complete your reading training. Alright. And if you use audio materials of sentences and articles reading, it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. 一石二鳥. So you don't have to practice listening because you listen to a lot of English with these books. But ideally speaking, I want you to find some your favorite listening material because listening to some of the things is really fun. You can sit back and relax and listen to some of the English contents in positive ways. It's not kind of a study, it's more like your lifestyle. You can check some of the stories in English, or you can watch some of the English comedy in English. Okay, so please find some one contents on the YouTube or on some media. And in my case, I tried CNN news listening. Who's she? She's Lady Gaga. She was really young because this textbook was published 2011. This is the first textbook of this series, and then I still listen to today's issue, published in 2025. So I checked these CNN news every day. Yes, because it's fun to watch or fun to listen to some of the native-like news media. Alright, so please find your favorite listening material. Alright, then you will complete your input style of learning. Now let's move forward to your output, speaking and writing. But wait, before moving on output, speaking and writing, I want to introduce one category, which is analytical reading or interpretation, 英文解釈. It's not for everyone. If you are in the process of achieving ACAN pre-first, ACAN first grade, or entrance exams for universities, you should try this category. And what I did was 50 stories. And these 50 stories are quite tough to understand and comprehend the messages. It's more like a English literature, 英文学. So it's quite tough. But luckily, the author, Mr. Nishi Sensei, actually made some video to instruct how to read these 50 stories in his YouTube video. So with his extra help, maybe you can understand how to analyze, how to crack the code of difficult, challenging, demanding sentences. But not for everyone. Just you are in a serious learner for academic English, maybe this type of category would be a must. Okay, and final step. Let's step into output version of learning styles, which is writing and speaking. Okay, but remember, writing and speaking is kind of a one set. If you can write, maybe you can speak with a lot of practice. If you can speak, you can write, alright? So what I did was reading aloud a lot of sample writing or model speeches many times. Then I try taking a lot of online lessons from the tutors all over the world. Just practice, okay? So you can learn the basic logical structures. I think blah 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 first. Second, therefore, these opinion structures and just try it with your tutors or speaking buddy or by yourself. Then you can write and speak. Provided you completed the three essential elements of the foundation and input, then like a pyramids, output, speaking and writing. So if you acquire these bottom skills, output would be a kind of piece of cake, not quite demanding, I would say. And finally, number 10, last but not least, how to study book or motivational book. Let me explain. Learning English takes years, in my case, over 10 years. So, in a course of learning, some guidance are necessary. For example, in this case, how to study English. By reading this, you can feel some confidence to believe in what you are doing is right. You can visualize how you can reach your goal, how you can reach your destination, because you understand for sure how to study English. Okay. Or sometimes good motivational books, because motivation is a key for your continuous journey of language acquisition. It takes years. That's why someone should push your back. For example, in my case, I once studied under the guidance of Mr. Nishitani. His lesson was top-notch at Yozemi School, prep school for university entrance exams. And his lesson style was quite dynamic, but very quite sensitive, poetic touch was included. For example, let me cite some of the phrases. 底辺から世界を見ろ。理解するとはそういうことだ。Wow. Looking at the world from the bottom, which means understanding. Fantastic. Actually, some student in his class cried during the lessons. Okay, so I want to be like him, in really good looking guy in the tight black suits, but I end up like this. Anyway, if my video or my channel can shed light like he did, or like the lighthouse at the cliff in the ocean, that will be quite satisfactory, super rewarding. Anyway, what I wanted to say is to study continuously, to study with some confidence. You can check how to study book or video, or you can turn to some of the motivational books. Okay, that was 10 categories you can train, and I believe after you perfecting first textbook, of course you can recreate same kind of success at different textbook at each categories. So you can acquire English within 2 or 3 years from balanced point of views. Do not waste your time 10 years or 15 years like I did. I want you to take a shortcut because life is short. You want to do many things, not only English, right? Okay. So thank you for watching, and I truly wishing you best luck and your great successful journey of learning English. Thank you. 拙い英語ですが、聞いていただきありがとうございました。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。ありがとうございました。